The IWF today is one of the most problematic governing structures in the world of sport. The organization is going through a deep crisis due to the international doping scandal. The organization's former president, Tomasz Ayan, had led the federation since 2000 and left office in April 2020 due to allegations of corruption. Hundreds of athletes around the world were disqualified. The national teams of many countries were banned and lost the right to participate in the 2020 Olympic Games in Tokyo. The failure of the IWF's anti-doping policy could lead to the exclusion of weightlifting from the 2024 Olympic Games. Today, people who were part of the old doping system and who were implicated in the McLaren report on the IWF are trying to restore the doping empire. After all the accusations, Tomasz Ayan, the former president of the IWF, became a world ambassador of weightlifting with the help of those who are dragging weightlifting back to the dark ages. His attempt to come back to the world of weightlifting shocked everyone who really loves this sport. Unfortunately, it looks like the corruption system in the IWF has not been totally eliminated. In this context, Maxim AGAPITOV, the head of the Russian Weightlifting Federation, is presenting his own anti-doping agenda.
40 years of weightlifting was my getaway into this sport. The movement to the Olympic highest is in the past. Since 2016, I have been the head of the Russian Weightlifting Federation, member of IWF Executive Board. Weightlifting for me is more than sport. Unfortunately, today weightlifting is in the crisis and in a deep depression. Canadian lawyer Richard McLaren is the author of an independent investigator report. Professor McLaren professionally exposed widespread corruption related to doping and financial fraud in the IWF, and give us this great opportunity to reform the anti-doping policy all over the world. His investigation was indeed independent and impartial. He proved the IWF was drowning in the corruption. Corrupted officials have today filed anti-doping outreach and damaged our sport. For many years, corrupt officials wasted our time, creating the illusion of anti-doping campaign. What's for? For huge amount of money, for political and other profits. If we don't stop corrupt officials, they will continue spreading doping, killing the careers of clean athletes and destroy our national teams. The old system that has been ruling for decades forces athletes to use doping. This kind of system has to be changed. Otherwise, weightlifting will cease to a sport as such. We must save and protect weightlifting. We must do it today. I would like to share with you our anti-doping experience in Russian weightlifting. Our problems with drugs are absolutely well known, but all of them are in the past. I won't get into details except to say that the result of our reforms are really amazing. We managed to carry out anti-doping reforms and bring our work to a new level. We have turned our weakness into strength. So today we know how to eliminate doping and corruption. We propose to scale the successful experience of the Russian Weightlifting Federation. Today the world of weightlifting is on the verge of the historic decision: either become a clean sport, abandoning doping and corruption forever, or to return to the dark times where the clean athletes had no chance of success. Are you on the board? Support me in the presidential election of the IWF. The road to clean sport starts here, in the IWF. First, we have to get free from corrupt officials in the IWF. We all want to trust the IWF in the future, don't we? We need to remove everything what prevents world weightlifting from moving ahead. Stop corruption, stop fraud, stop manipulations. Second, I'm sure that the IWF needs to seriously reform the world's anti-doping system within its authority. As you know, today only the IWF has exclusive anti-doping authority in weightlifting. It does not matter that IWF has actually delegated its credential to ITA. But according to the anti-doping rules, the National Federation is responsible for his athletes. Regardless of this fault, the national federations are not anti-doping organizations. They have no authority or power, but they are nevertheless responsible. I believe that we need to encourage the national federations to be more active in their fight against doping, in approaching their respective national anti-doping organizations, regional anti-doping organization, or ITA. In this case, our colleagues all over the world will be able to fight doping without fear of sanctions. Penalties for doping, of course, will remain, but the changes are needed there as well. Positive doping results from out-of-competition tests will become the responsibility of coaches. They will lead to investigation in athletes' support personnel. National Federation shall not be responsible for violation of anti-doping rules uncovered with their assistance and involvement. The scale of penalties and suspension must become transparent and clear. Information about the in-competition and out-of-competition tests must be open and publicly accessible. Loopholes for doping must be eliminated. Money from penalties should be allocated to the development of the child sport. The National Federation will have an opportunity to develop the sport. Together, we will bring up a clean generation of athletes. And what about IWF? In the future, the IWF or ITA on its behalf will become a powerful intellectual, informational, and organizational center. We will have 24/7 service to assist federation. If we want to fight doping, we must change the rules, motivate national federations, and of course, convince countries not to use doping and to motivate them to reveal the doping schemes and to nail the cheaters. I know it for sure. Anti-doping work must be more transparent. Information on the athletes tested, the dates of the samples, and the location, and even who carried out the test should be available. This will give professionals an understanding not only of the number of tests, but also of the quality. It will help to create an understanding that everyone works under the same rules, under control. Finally, in my opinion, our sport is absolutely beautiful, self-development and spectacular. Future of weightlifting depends on you. If you vote, choose the right course. Make up your mind. Support me in the presidential election of the IWF. Let's do it together.
To reform the IWF by depriving people directly related to the former president Tomas Ayan of access to decision-making and thereby to defeat the atmosphere of fear still prevailing within the IWF. To reform within the IWS authority the world anti-doping system, to endow national federations with mechanisms to initiate testing of athletes, to direct fines for doping, to the development of youth sports in this region. To cancel fines for positive doping tests if they were uncovered with assistance of the national federations. To increase fines for positive results of doping tests at international competitions. To make the IWF's anti-doping work transparent, it is necessary to strive for this. Information about the tested athletes, sample dates, location, and who conducted the testing should be available in the form of a quarterly report on the IWF website. To introduce mandatory testing at international competitions of top 10 athletes. To protect the rights of clean athletes to clean competitions. To develop competition among clean athletes. To introduce innovative technologies in the popularization of weightlifting. To develop educational anti-doping online programs for athletes and coaches around the world. To provide comprehensive support for the development of youth sports in developing countries. To make the profession of weightlifter highly paid through the development of marketing and sponsorship.